You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation Collectors Meeting. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk again when we got the fans. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh and eat, gonna live the dream. Gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing the song to the break of dawn. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready for one more chance. You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation Collectors Meeting. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Season 2, Episode number 25 of the PlayStation Collectors Podcast. And tonight we welcome dStreet back to the show. What's up, dStreet? Welcome back, man.
What's up, guys? Glad to be back.
Up, dStreet. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good as always, thankfully. After last month, there was a lot of, let's say, massive quantities of games that I picked up, if you guys have seen that last video. But other than that, since the last time, like, nothing's changed, really. So, but really, looking forward to
I chatted
this
to
month.
Andy a couple of days ago, and he's like, yeah, dStreet will make an awesome guest. He's got a 50-minute pickup video to show off.
The last one, what was it, like an hour and 15 minutes? It was long.
You know, you got some good stuff when the pickups is over an hour long.
That is awesome, though. Looking forward to it.
I love seeing the holy grails of PS2 sitting in front of the TV as well.
I mean, what month is it again?
It's October. It's horror month.
It's October, so it's
Oh,
horror
yeah.
month right here. And I'll be
Yeah.
playing these for the first time ever this month as well. And I'm probably going to be streaming all three of these too. So that'll
That's
probably
really
be
cool.
fun.
So
If you guys aren't already, be sure to just subscribe to dStreet's YouTube channel. It's lowercase dStreet319. So definitely go and subscribe, guys, and we'll get him. You're almost at 1,000 subscribers, dStreet.
Go slowly getting there. Just slowly making progress and getting back in the swing of things for putting content on the channel. But I don't expect like the live streams to really blow up because you really like start getting benefits from live streams when you have a big bait following, what have you. But it's mainly when I get to these, it's just I finally want to have an excuse to play these games finally, and also get used to just streaming in general instead of just purely uploading a video, that's highly edited and whatnot. While live streaming, well, got to put myself out there and be careful what you say, or whoever walks in behind you hopefully doesn't ruin the whole thing, or worse yet, they unintentionally do a massive jump scare as you're playing stuff like that. I know
Yeah,
Kuwan
I know,
could
yeah.
be something like that because that has like random jump scares, I think, which is basically the screen flashes white. But hey, we'll see when I play it for myself, though, to see how much that I won't be able to sleep at night.
I find
That'll be fun, though.
streaming is good to just talk to people while you're playing video games, and especially
Yeah.
one player game. Sometimes it can. I'm not saying it can be lonely, but it can be an experience that is a different experience when you're talking to other people, and I enjoy that.
Yeah, that's one nice thing with live streaming is that when you have your viewers or like any of your say like your fans that have watched you consistently and they actually want to interact with you, then that's a good way to go about it. Like I know of say like maybe like 5 viewers that have come into my streams, I've like instantly recognized their names, and we always just chat of like what they got for pickups or just general topics and whatnot too. So it's always a good excuse to also like engage with your viewers and whatnot. It's one of the best ways to go about it, I find.
Yeah,
And
it's fun, and it doesn't have to be about the game. You if you're talking to someone one week and they jump in the stream a few weeks later, you can continue having that conversation and, you know, talk about game pickups while you're playing something. And that's, I love that. I love just having, you know, those individual conversations, but it's, you know, part of this whole big thing that everyone's a part of. It's awesome.
One thing especially about horror games too that I love streaming is, like you said, like it's a different experience. Like if you're sitting there all alone in a room, it's kind of more freaky. I feel like if you're streaming, at least you can kind of talk to people, be like, hey guys, I don't want to open this door. I don't know about you. You know, you can kind of talk it out and, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's like nice to have the company. Like, I love horror games are some of the best games for streaming. I think they're so fun to watch. They're really entertaining. They're good to interact with the people. And even like, I love watching people in real life play them. Like, one of my favorite things to do is to have people come play VR and put a horror game on and just watch them get scared out of their mind. That's so fun. So yeah, it's a good month for it.
We all definitely need to hit that stream button more.
I know. I've been trying. My second PSVR 2 headset died this week.
Your second one.
Your second one.
Yeah, my second one now, playing Beat Saber. Same exact thing happened as the first one. I was just playing. All the tracking goes haywire, and then the whole headset shuts off, and it just won't turn on, and just reboots over and over and over and over again. No physical damage, no nothing. Just playing the game, and it dies, and like it's like a software problem.
Obviously,
you had warranties on the headsets at least?
Oh yeah, this will be the second time I ship it out
good.
for repair, which means they just send you a refurbished one. And don't solve the problem.
Which says to me that the first run of VR2s obviously have problems, because you're a collector. You're going to be looking after your items, but you're playing it every day. If they can't last for a few months of everyday playment, then like, are they going to be around in 2-3 years when other people have really started to put work into them, like kids using them and stuff? You know, people that don't look after their stuff.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed with the build quality. Like I said, I take very good care of it. I keep it in a case 100% of the time. The controllers are always on the charging cradles. You know, everything's taken care of. It doesn't get dropped, and it's adult owned. No kids touch it. Nobody does anything to it. I'm the only one who uses it in the whole household. Nobody else wants to put on my nasty, sweaty headset because it's gross. So it's like, it's just, man, it's really frustrating. And yeah, you know, whatever, it is what it is. This, if it happens again, like, I don't know, I might reconsider the PSVR 2 period. Like, I literally might just like sell off my PSVR 2 games and get like a nice PC VR headset and call it a day, and just then be like done with Sony's. Because
I don't blame you, especially after this. Now the second one died, like that, it calls into question of the build quality of it. That totally reminds me of the Valve Index, which I have myself ever since it was like a few months after Half-Life Alyx came out. But it is well known for that headset as well, that the like build quality is not well done, to where like components in it just fail over time. That the most common thing seems to be the cable, which can be replaced, but it is really expensive to replace the whole cable because there's a lot of stuff going on with it. You know, so much data, the power's going through it as well for the headset. So yeah, it's really unfortunate when it happens, especially as you said, Joe. You take very good care of it. I know I take very good care of mine as well, which is just being kept in a really well protected and well padded storage case when I'm not using it. And even then, it just stays in the corner whenever I want to feel like playing it, after like 2 months later, possibly.
Yeah, it's sad. I don't know if it's like, I went on some Reddit forums, and there was other people having the exact same issue, and they were all having the exact same issue with Beat Saber. So I personally think there is literally something wrong with PSVR 2 Beat Saber that is destroying the headsets. I'm just putting out a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. I have nothing else to go on. But like, when I looked up the exact problem I'm having, the people who were having it because of Beat Saber. Exact same thing. So
it might
I think it's something. I think it's a software problem in the software thing that's screwing up the headset. I don't know.
It may come down to a game like Beat Saber for being a game that people who do play it so often, and
aggressively.
That's the ones playing your VRs the most, so that's why you guys are seeing.
Could be.
The more functioning.
Yeah, I mean, I put. I think I have like, I think I have 95 hours on it in 3 months playing Beat Saber, which isn't that much, but it is in Beat Saber time because that shit is tiring, bros.
It's a good
Well, I
workout,
would
though.
figure like an
Yeah.
hour of playing VR is
Mhm.
to Sony. They would assume just an hour playing PS4 and an hour playing VR is two different things. You know, they aren't expecting people to be using their VRs for 1,000 hours, and I'm sure they're not testing for those reasons as well.
Definitely not. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to talk about PSVR 2 all night. I'm just gonna get salty about it. Let's talk about something else. What else is going on?
Well, we have some bad news, unfortunately. So, just a couple of hours ago, it broke that Best Buy, as of Q1 2024, are going to not sell DVDs, Blu-rays, CDs, and video games. So this is going to affect us all, really. As we know, Best Buy are a retailer of limited run games. In particular, they stock variants, their own Best Buy variants. That won't be a thing anymore. Like, this is one
Steelbooks
retailer
too, right?
Yeah, they have steelbooks as well. How many more retailers are going to just stop doing physical stuff? You know, Walmart, Big W, GameStop. Like, it just takes another one to be like, yep, let's just follow the ball rolling, and suddenly, you know, where we buy physical media from. This is the world we're in today. It's pretty scary.
Depressing is what it is. I personally, I like Best Buy because out of all the companies that I buy from online, they are by far and above the most competent. Every time I buy their stuff, I get the right stuff and it's not broken. And I can't, that alone to me, it makes them my favorite place to order from, because every time ordering from Amazon, forget it. You're not getting, who knows what region you're getting. It's not, you know, it'll say ESRB, whatever. You're going to get whatever the hell they feel like pulling out of the stack. And then it shows up in a piece of tissue paper, crushed 9 out of 10 times. It's like destroyed. Like Amazon just, I don't know what it is, but the games, they just come destroyed. Not always, but more often than not. But I've just had amazing luck with Best Buy. Like it's never broken. It's like on time. It's never missing. I don't know. Just had good luck with them. And they also do have great clearances too. Like they clear out stuff for like $9 sometimes. Switch games for $10 if you're paying attention and you're there at the right time. So sad.
It's unfortunate that for me, I never had a Best Buy around me growing up until where I'm living now. A Best Buy is much easily accessible. So therefore, I even missed out on the Gamers Club Unlocked thing where, what was it, like 20% off of any game you would go in to buy at Best Buy. So that would say like, say like any brand new game that's coming out this month here in October, you would be paying like what, $48 maybe, or maybe like $50, especially if you had like any other say like coupons to bring it down. You could be saving a lot of money on just buying games at Best Buy for quite a while when they had that membership. And I haven't seen like any other like retailers have another membership like that, unfortunately, because they probably realized like, yeah, a lot of people are really taking advantage of this and getting brand new games like way cheaper than they really should.
Funny you bring that up. I used to work at a place called Woolworths, and part of working there got you discounts at all their different retailers, and one of them sold video games. So I was always getting 10% off video games. It was one of those things that you just kind of like take for granted until you haven't got it anymore.
So in this case, Best Buy, if they do anything with selling games themselves, it's probably just going to be like you just see like a little booth of, say, like for the Switch, and it's just those stupid download codes that you'll take it to the checkout, and then they'll give you a receipt with the code in there. Why'd you go to Best Buy to buy that instead of just getting it on the online store?
Yeah,
What's the
exactly.
point?
It's just a gift at that point.
You
like,
spent more money on gas then for no reason if you didn't
now,
go to
I
Best
would
Buy
ask
for
you
anything else.
something. Do you think Best Buy? No, I'm not too familiar with their business model because we don't have it over here. Do you think they would move to an online model with video games? Like, do they sell
said they
enough?
wouldn't. I'm pretty sure Best Buy said they're not doing that. They're not going to have an online presence for it either. They're just going to step out completely, which blows my mind.
They must be losing money, or like that. They must see these sales declining. Like, surely they don't just say we're not doing this anymore because we don't want to. It must come down to we're not making money on these products anymore, and we have to get rid of them.
So maybe
Yeah.
keep an eye out for the next like few weeks, let's say, if they are still selling physical games. If for some reason they start having clearance on
Oh
some of that
hell yeah!
stuff,
I'm gonna be
definitely keep an
watching it like
eye
a
out
hawk.
for your local stores if they they still have games in stock, and if they make any announcements that there's going to be any sales or clearance on that stuff. So definitely keep an eye out for that for the next like month or two, probably.
Not
God.
just games, all the media is going to
Imagine.
be cheap, and
They were
if
just
you're
like
savvy, you can buy
buy
cheap
two get two free all
Blu-rays,
Switch games.
sell them on
Woo!
eBay, and buy video games with that money. So you can turn all that
Mm.
stuff into games.
That'd be nice. So I don't know. I am 100% against the all digital future. I can't stand that this is going to happen, and there's a lot of reasons. But like one of the things I don't think people realize too is that like the way licensing works, stuff like for example, like have you ever seen shows that have been put back on streaming networks that don't have the original music anymore because they don't have the licensing to the music? That's that's happened. I've
Yeah,
seen
that
shows
definitely does happen.
they do not have the original music from what you used to watch when it was on TV, and like that sort of crap's going to happen too. It's like the perfect like and like you know what
It
the
is
new Grand
happening.
Theft Auto,
Yeah,
the new
Grand
Grand
Theft
Theft
Auto.
Auto makes couldn't have the music. That type of stuff is stuff that people don't think about, and these companies are not going to pay to do that again, just to put it on streaming for you. And so, as far as preservation goes, you're going to lose the ability to see stuff the way it was originally intended to be seen. It's like how hard it is to find the original Star Wars that hasn't been messed with. How hard it is to find that. It's like the old ass Star Wars, the originals, without any CG, without any fake Jabba the Hutt, all that crap. Not just the old regular movies. Like it's like they've erased it from history. If you want to try to watch it and buy it, it's such a pain in the ass how they do stuff like that.
And then with TV shows, I know with like Friends, they edit scenes now. That if something happens and this doesn't happen in 2024, so okay, we'll edit that scene, use AI to blah blah blah, and put in a new scene. Like that's happening, and people are just accepting it. Like, you know, for me, Grand Theft Auto Vice City is a different experience without the original music. I'm sorry, but it's not the same. It's not as good, and I'm not going to spend my money on something that was better 20 years ago and I already own it. Like, I'm not going to support that.
There's like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That show has several episodes that are like no longer airable. They're like considered like no, you can't put them on anymore, and so that you're just not going to see them anymore on streaming and on TVs. They just like if they don't exist. Whereas if you know you go down the old Best Buy and buy season 4 on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, they can put whatever the hell they want on there, and you can watch whatever you want. And it's like another way it's a way for censorship to happen and like for people to control what we see and the way to edit the past. That's the thing. Another thing that they're going to be able to edit the past and redo it all the way they want things to be done, not the way that it was done in the old days for those stupid people. Oh, those old people. Like it's just so stupid how they're gonna. You just wait and see. They'll just redo everything, make it all crap. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, they will.
Against our will. Like we're all here like, no, we want to buy it, please. And they're like, no, we won't let you peasants. We're going to take it away.
So you can do anything to change the future, but you can never change the past. The past is the past. Sorry.
It's history. That's why we buy all this stuff here, because, you know, it's history as well. And we want to make sure that we all can still experience, say, like that original uncut Star Wars movie back on VHS, if you want to go that far to see the original intent of what the director wanted you to see when they were making that movie. But
yeah,
for like those shows that get pulled for like licensing, I've heard stories, say like on Disney Plus, where some shows were only up for like a year, but due to just licensing issues and like the original copyright holders or the IP holders asking more money from, say, like Disney or whoever's like holding it on the platform, they just don't want to keep it up there because it costs them a lot of money to keep it up there. So it's like really annoying that these companies are all for like these streaming services, but at the same time there are like some shows that they just can't afford to keep up there even for like a year. So it's insane that if that becomes like way more common in the future, which I feel like it will, because it happens a lot for streaming services where it's either going to be like the platform is going to be suffering money, or the original IP holders of like the show or the game for like publishers, and the customer themselves, they could be end up spending a lot of money. So eventually, is all this stuff going to crash potentially in the long run, because it's just not sustainable for how much each side is asking for money? That who knows if that happens. Maybe there might be a resurgence in physical media again. I'm willing to bet.
We go full circle.
So I
I'd like
wonder.
to add that like people like original media, and if say 50 years time there becomes a group of people that love video games that we're into, guess what? They're going to want to find the original copies of these games, because they don't care about what version they want us to see. No, I love this game because of this guy who made it. I want to see his vision and what he made back in 1995, not the 2030 version that cuts out all these different things. And like that'll be a thing. There'll be people looking and wanting that original media. So even though they're taking this stuff away and editing it today, the human curiosity is always going to want to find out, what was this meant to be like? What did they not want me to know?
No, there will always be like the vinyl scene, how it had that huge resurgence. Vinyl basically died in the 90s, and then it came back, and now it has like a niche audience, but a large audience. It's pretty.
It's
popular,
outselling
you know
CDs.
what I mean?
Vinyl's
Right now.
outselling
Yeah.
CDs,
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I feel like there will always be that market for this sort of thing. It's just, what video games is different, because it's not like, I don't know, the production cost to make games is so much, and then like if companies aren't producing the game, I don't know who's going to do it. I think that it's just going to be like little printing labels like Limited Run and little companies that are just releasing games for as long as they can, until
yeah. But if they make
they'll
enough
fall off.
money, a big company will come along and be like, well, these guys are making so and so, we can do this, and we own AAA, let's do it. So maybe a big company will get back into it one day.
Yeah,
And they will pay up of actually publishing physical copies of like AAA games. Like one that is springing to mind right now is that Limited Run is doing the Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden physical releases on the current gen systems.
Mhm.
Atlas can't afford to do that, or Sega, because they own Atlas, they can't afford to do that at all.
They
It's
don't want to
insane.
do that. That's what it comes to.
Or they really don't want to do it at all because they don't care, even though it's Persona. Whatever, they do what
But
they want.
Devin, if Limited Run, they have an open pre-order, right? Let's just
Mm-hmm.
theoretically say they sell 100,000 of those. Like it's their best ever sale, and it like absolutely blows away expectations. Wouldn't that get Sega and Atlas to be like, hang on, we've just lost out on all these profits that we didn't even think was a thing, because there's a customer base there. I'm not saying that'll happen, but I would assume that these would be two of their better selling games that they've ever done, right? I don't want to spend any money on Limited Run again, but I'm buying these games because I don't want to miss out on them.
Exactly. Like the Persona 3 Portable Collector's Edition, I bought that, even though I will almost never buy a special or limited edition from them. But this is a really special case given how much that I love Persona.
So what I think is going to happen is that, I'm assuming that there's going to be a lot. I bet there's higher profits in doing a release through one company like this and doing a worldwide retail release across Europe and all these places and all these companies. And I guarantee there's just more money in it. And like you say, if it sells well, and with the combination of Best Buy not doing retail and stuff, I think that these companies like Limited Run's going to start to dominate, dude. Like you're going to see a lot of stuff getting released through them if this is successful. A lot of big companies, and they're working with Konami now, and they're working with you'll see Capcom games. They're going to be like the physical market. It's going to be direct sales. It's going to be like retail. They're stepping out. I don't know what they're going to do. They're probably just going to all go to business in the long term. Like Best Buy itself will just become Circuit City, die. That's the end of that story. They're not going to bounce back. GameStop has been like a zombified company that has been thriving on memes and fumes for fucking like the last couple
From
years.
GameStop, it probably
Game
went under.
stonks. Yeah, exactly. It would already be dead. It's a reanimated corpse at this point. So I mean, it's going to die. So I don't know, man. I think it's just going to be all online direct sales from these companies, and that's all we'll have. we'll be at their mercy, waiting for years for our games, or you buy them digitally day one, boys, and we'll be those old timers. And I hate that already. Like if you're like, it sucks when you want to play a game and everyone's playing it for a year before you get your game. Everyone's done playing Shredder's Revenge for like 6 months before I get my copy. Am I going to play? No. Okay. And then so you get the FOMO, and then you end up buying the digital copy while you wait for your physical copy. It's a bunch of BS, man.
In particular, online games, because if you're not playing from day one, you're behind the 8 ball, and it's going to be harder to catch up, and you're not going to meet up with other
fighting games or something.
You're going to find it even harder. And
Fighting games,
Any skill-based.
I have a question that you both probably wouldn't know the answer to, but I would like to know how these deals work. So, like when Limited Run signed this deal with Atlas and Sega to make Persona 4, would it be a deal that they're paying for the license, or would it be every copy we sell, you get a certain cut of that to encourage them to sell a bigger amount? It is quite interesting to know like how much it would cost to bring an old game back.
What's the difference that they split for licensing payments, Limited Run actually making all the physical goods for all the editions that they do? So yeah, it's definitely something to ask. And from what I understand, they though may have changed in like recent years. Is who knows that Limited Run actually does another print of some of their games down the road, because I swear it happens that VG Plus suddenly gets restock of some of their games. But it just seems like it's a one-time license thing for them to print all these copies and never again. So in terms of say like constantly renewing licensing fees, the Limited Run to whatever company that they're making a game of, it's probably not a thing for them, possibly because it just seems to be a one and done thing for them for the most part. But who knows how much of a cut Sega is asking out of Persona, given how big that IP has gotten in the last decade almost.
Going back on the fact that once they do sell out, there isn't like a second print. I would assume it is just they're paying for that one thing. Like you'd assume if a game sells outright, you want more copies to restock so you can keep selling them. Well, Limited Run don't do that. At least if they do, they don't advise that they're doing it.
Who knows that if at the point, who knows if we'll get to the point where all like the major retailers just outright stop selling physical copies, that there's going to be way more demand against a Limited Run to have way more physical copies of games, because if they're going to be one of the only few doing it anymore, they can't like keep only doing like a single print run of a lot of their stuff forever, especially if it's going to get to the level of like AAA games that gets all the marketing attention every single year. If they ever get to that level, they can't afford to do that, because they will have way too much demand, not just from customers, but I'm sure from, let's just like a big crazy example, say like Assassin's Creed, that Ubisoft, they definitely want to have lots of copies of that made for everyone, across all platforms.
And if it goes the way of retailers closing down in other countries, what happens if they're suddenly got to supply the whole world? The UK want 100,000 copies. This country wants a certain amount of copies. Like they would really be taking on the reins of, where now. Like,
well, they have distributors in Europe and Japan now, I think, don't they? Don't they have like actual partnerships?
Yeah, they do. And they also have all their small distributors that they work with. But like we're talking in the days where Amazon, GameStop, Best Buy all exist. What happens once they all cease making video games and customers are still seeking out physical copies? Like demand would absolutely blow up. I hope they can handle it too.
Well, I imagine. Have you ever seen Road Warrior? The guy with the mask. I'm just gonna pull up people's houses in my car. Like, give me your games, come out. Something like that. It'll be something like that. I'm assuming. Fight for survival. Sorry.
Hey guys, maybe on to some new news. During the week, we had an announcement by Sony. They dropped a new PS5 console, PS5 Slim. A PS5 Slim with a digital version that's going to be $50 more than the previous digital version, trying to normalize that. Also, the consoles are different shapes to the previous ones, which you're like, oh, that's great. But then you think about it, and you see those things behind Joe, the console plates. Well, they're almost sold out already for the original PS5. If PS5 have also said that once they sell out of the original models, they're not going to be making anymore. They're only going to be making the slims.
Yep.
Says to me they're not going to be making the plates anymore. They're already going for 2-3 times the retail. What's going on with their plates? That's going to be a very expensive item, and that's not good because I know a lot of people that want them.
The Spider-Man 2 faceplates. Imagine how much those will go 4 years down the road.
Final Fantasy ones, like,
dude, they're already insane. The Final Fantasy ones are already so it's funny, like, so the digital one you can get it for like 100, but like the actual disc version, it's like 200, 250, $300 to get the plates for that right now. It's absurd.
There's so much Spider-Man fans out there that will pay it.
The Spider-Man ones you can get for like $150 still on eBay, and those aren't that bad. But the Final Fantasy ones were only sold in Japan, and they wouldn't ship them to the United States, and it was just a big pain in the ass. So they're just a little harder to get. I don't know if they did it yet, but I did hear that Best Buy, if you were a member of their premium program or whatever, they were doing a restock for the Spider-Man plates. Just so you guys know. So, but you have to be a member of their whatever their club is, whatever the hell they have, to get them.
That's good though. It stops scalping. It stops people buying 10 copies through 10 different accounts because you can't have 10 memberships unless. I mean, if you have 10 memberships, you're making Best Buy a lot of money, so they probably don't care.
I literally got pissed off and just bought the whole console again. So I have 2 PS5s now because I was just so furious that I knew this would happen, and I was just like, I'm done with this. And I'm glad because I wanted a second one anyway.
Yes, I do want to get the new Slim myself, so that way I have a second system where the Slim will be like my primary one that I use up here, and my original launch one will go right in the basement, which is where the VR room is set up, and be primarily a VR system is the way that I plan on going about it.
In Australia, the way the plates got released is terrible. So they got released for EB games, right? I wasn't trying to buy them myself. I had a friend who wanted them. The way that they got released is they're going to be released at this time for our level 5 members only. If you're not a level 5 member, then you're not going to be buying one. They sold out instantly. Suddenly, half of them are on eBay. So, like, they're selling them to scalpers.
First-class buyers only.
Like, their scalpers are their regular, like, oh my God, the system is just so flawed. Like, I spoke to someone who's like, look, I was trying to buy one day one, couldn't buy it, and my only option is now to spend $300 to buy it on eBay. It sucks.
That's dumb.
It's able to buy something day one. Sorry,
it's absurd. If I have a PlayStation membership, like, why can't I go on Sony's website and just pre-order whatever the hell I want? Why don't they just say, "Hey, Sony plates are coming out in a month. Put in your pre-order," and then they just make them? Why is this so stupid? You know what I mean? Like, that's the FOMO limited everything. It sells out in 2 seconds. It's literally, as far as from a capitalist perspective, I don't understand. I think it's so stupid. I'm like, why don't you want more money? I just, like, Limited Run at least had the sense to stop doing we're going to make 1,000 copies that sell out in a minute, and we're just going to do an open pre-order. And everybody who wants one gets one, and then that's the way and that's it. Then we're done. And like, people may not like having to wait for their stuff, but that is by far and above the most reasonable way to do things.
And you have like most of the time it's like a month long to decide if you want to like pre-order one or not on the Limited Run site. And even then, if you, like in my case, $200 for that Persona Collector's Edition. Well, I have, at least a month to make sure I'm financially good to make a big purchase like that, even though it's going to take a long time, probably like a year for that to come in possibly. But it's good to know, I do have an option to like really think it over before spending that money compared to say like those plates that if they're any like limited edition ones, they'll like announce it. The orders go up, say like 30 minutes later, and you got to decide right now if you want these or not. Because
they sell in less than 2 minutes. Like the websites don't work, and you're crashing, and you're in line, and your checkout doesn't work, and everything. It's just oh my God! How many times have you guys been?
Just for
can't buy what you want.
Just to buy a cosmetic for your system at the end of the day.
That's quite common in not just systems. Like, there's games now that are releasing it. They're not announcing it. They're just releasing it. It's for sale.
And freaking Final Fantasy
Yeah, if you don't buy it, it's sold out. You have to have the money today.
I woke up at 7 a.m. and it was like, oh, sorry guys, sold out. I'm like, why are you releasing at 3 in the middle of the night? What are you doing?
Or how about the Pixel remaster on
That's what I'm
on
talking
PS4?
about.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Because
talking about.
was it like 1 or 2 in the morning? Those went
It
up.
was like 11 p.m. Eastern time or like midnight Eastern or something.
It's
Middle
like,
of the night.
thank God I was a night owl that night to get my copy I have up on top of my shelf here. Because I knew it was gonna sell out fast, but man, I was up at the right time, or at least saw the email from Square Enix's store pop up at the right time on my phone to place my order for that. But
It's now $1,000 game.
yeah, it's, oh my God, the price of that is growing fast on the secondhand market. It's insane.
It literally is insane. It literally is beyond reason.
Like as soon as that came in, the one that was delivered, that like instantly became like top 3 or 4 most expensive games in my collection. All of a sudden, a brand new game right in the mail like that. That's crazy.
But like, if
It-
you're Square Enix, right, how can you sit around a board meeting and say, hey guys, this game that we only sold a certain amount of copies on, if you go on eBay, there's 150 listings and every single one sold over $500. How can they not say we should be reprinting this game because the demand is insane?
You
Like,
could be
they
selling
wouldn't
$500 collector's editions and be selling those. Think about
It's-
you know what I mean? Like, god damn.
Yeah, it's one of
They
their
could sell
2
them for more
flagship
money and we would
franchises.
still buy them. Like, they could put them up for $150 and say, hey guys, we know they're expensive on eBay. We've paid to get more. They're going to be a little bit more, but they're way cheaper than eBay. I would still buy one. I'd be a bit
Yeah.
grumpy, but I'd still buy it and I'd be happy at
Yeah.
the end of the day.
Who knows what happens at the board meetings for that particular company? I mean, you remember like for the last like 2 years, their wonderful CEO was really pushing NFTs, if you remember that.
Hmm.
We'll see if that actually comes to fruition, but
I swear to
Yeah,
God,
but,
as a lot of these people that these companies resent the fact that everybody loves their old stuff. And Nike, it's like a band that's like doesn't want to play their hits anymore. They're like, how come no one likes the new album? Why not? Come on, guys! Everybody will sing the new album, and everyone's like, boo! No, play your hits. This shit sucks. You know, and then and they're just like, okay. But I swear to God, they have like especially Sony. Like he's there, like nobody likes our old stuff. Why would anyone want to play that crap? And everyone's like, dude,
oh, that
Like,
lovely
all
quote
day.
from Jim Ryan.
seriously.
I'm
Thank
imagining
God
a
he's
board
gone.
meeting, that meme where they got 3 people sitting at a table. One's like NFTs, one's like digital only, and then there's a guy who gets kicked out of the window is like, let's reprint the Pixel Master Collection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Gosh. I honestly want them to reprint it just to stick it to the people who are doing this. You guys are nuts. Relax. $1,000 for this stupid game. It's like you can buy all of the actual games and the consoles for like that much money. Probably you could buy like a Nintendo and a Super Nintendo and all the carts and the Super. It's for $1,000. Damn, dude, what do you don't need? You can get a nice CRT, you get a little upscaler, you know what I mean? Like you could freaking a lot of $1,000. What I don't understand. What is like whatever, you guys. I mean, it doesn't have to make sense. It's collecting. Does any of this make sense? No, none of this makes sense. But
Not
like,
to
I
the
want that in
normies.
my
any of
collection,
this makes sense.
There's a price that it doesn't make sense anymore, you know. But unfortunately, there's people out there that it still makes sense to them because they want it for their collection, and that's their collection. And you know, if you've got disposable money, then you've got a good on you.
Well, that's the problem you get into when you're like, I want a full set of something. If you commit, now you're committed to shit like this. Whereas me, I can just be like, I have my little Switch copy for like $69.99. And it plays just fine. And if I ever would like to take, and I can open it and I don't want to cry, I can open that thing and play it. And I'm like, all right with it. If you have that PS4, you're not opening that. You'll puke. You'll be like, whoa. You're not going to be, it's like, how can you, I don't know. Sean Powers can, but nobody else I know that can open that stuff. Like, I just couldn't. I couldn't. If I got a copy of that game, no way I could open it. Maybe if I got 2, but even if I got 2, I would feel terrible opening one of those once it gets to be that expensive. It's like,
I would add though, Joe, the value of an open copy would be pretty much the cheapest sealed copy on eBay.
Yeah.
It's like when
It
you
would
see
still be worth
open
a shit
limited
ton,
run
yeah.
games for sale. An
Mhm.
open limited run game
Mm.
is pretty much sells for the cheapest sealed copy of a limited run game. You
That's
don't
fair.
see open limited run games. That's not a thing because people that open them want to play them and keep them. It's the
Mhm.
people selling them keeping them sealed. You know, so it almost is if you open it, it still has its value because 90% of the people buying it just want to own it. They don't care that it's sealed or not. You know,
That's how I am. I like buying open copies. That I would prefer an open, nice condition copy any day, because then I no guilt. I can open it, play it, still looks nice. Yeah, unless I'm specifically buying it to.
But you can't open it yourself.
No.
Someone else has to have opened it first.
Yeah, and then it's like there's no guilt. Exactly. It's like, oh well, this is just. It is what it is. So
you send me all your games, I'll open them and get and then I'll send them to you, and there's no guilt, and I get my addiction.
I want you sniffing all my games, buddy.
What's being stored in those that caused you to whiff like that? Good God.
Bigsy's
So
addicted.
You
to
stole the
me,
merchandise and
no.
then screwed me over.
Honestly,
Bigsy's
I haven't
gonna be
opened a steel game in so long.
Bigsy's gonna be in Best Buy on the last day, just opening all the games and smelling them like, no, I need my fix. No, you can't take it away.
Cyrus is asking, what's your craziest purchase for the collection? That's a good question.
Good question.
It's a tough one because I've bought in things that are worth that and that are even worth more than that today. But then there's things for the collection that I've definitely bought that like it's like there's no reason bar like getting a full set to buy that. So okay, Odin's Spear for the PS3 for me. Not the most expensive game I've ever bought, but I paid $180 for it because it was the final Oz Power game for a full set. Copies sell cheaper than that today, but at the time, and I knew people who own copies knew that I needed it, so they kept the price
It didn't
up.
matter to you at the end.
Yeah, so it didn't matter to me, and the feeling of completing it completely outweighed that price. But today, looking back, that was a decision that's like that was a silly decision. You know, I can go on eBay and buy one for $120 today.
Mhm. I guess for me, the craziest one might have been it's a cross between Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and what was the one that I was just thinking about? My Xenosaga Episode 3 lenticular version. It's actually right behind the stack of PS4 games up there. Only because that's like the most money I spent on games, if that's how we want to describe this, in terms of something where it's like really crazy because of like what the thing is. Can't really think of that right now. I mean, I guess for Rule of Rose, I technically got that for free because all the profit I made after selling Barbie Groom and Glam Pups on the 3DS, it effectively paid for that right there. But
That's hilarious. Barbie
Ain't-
pays for Rule of Rose, but hey, it is what it is.
yeah, a child game pays for a game that came under fire for some things that depicting about child stuff, which wasn't true, of course, but
No.
ain't that funny how it all works?
You're talking about the Barbie sale that you did to get your Rule of Rose.
Yep.
It's got to be
Though
one of the best hustles I've ever heard, like hands down.
Though I can see myself, the biggest things that will be the craziest thing I'll ever buy is both Snatcher for the Sega CD and like an authentic copy. I'm not buying any of that reprinted stuff because I'm a diehard Kojima fan at heart. I want a complete copy of Snatcher. And the other thing would be Panzer Dragoon Saga.
No, that'd be awesome. Those are your like, yeah. So to me, like the biggest, craziest ones are ones I'm planning on making. I haven't. There's a really, really fancy Darius for collector's edition, or Darius collector's edition for PS4 that came out in Japan that I want. It's like $400 or $500. That's absurd for me that I'm going to buy that, but I am. And then I plan on picking up Shadow Tower and Kingsfield soon. 1 and 2 on PS1, all 3 of those. So that'll be very expensive to get all of those. But I'm planning on them
at one point, and now it's just like I missed the boat.
I'm saving up for it. I'm trading some stuff. I'm selling some stuff. I'm making it work in my mind. I'm not just going to pay retail and it is what it is. You know, gotta find some deals because you can find. I can get I've seen Kingsfield 2 reasonable. I've seen some good deals on Kingsfield 2. Kingsfield 1, not so much. Shadow Tower, no deals.
Shadow Tower I saw in one of my local stores, and oh my god, it is insulting of
Mhm.
the price it's selling for combined with the condition of it. It's like the manual itself. It
Mhm.
took like a 30-minute swim in a pool,
Mhm.
and they're selling it for close to market value.
That's all the stores do that around
Like,
me.
yeah,
Like,
they all do it at
they
the end
wipe
of the
that butt
day.
with the manual and they charge eBay retail. I'm like, okay.
Hey,
Like,
guys,
if
I
you
think
ask me,
something,
this should be like 50% off given the condition of this thing here. It's
I seen something pretty rare for sale this week that probably shows up once every 2 years, and it was in the PSYC group on Facebook, and it was a PS1 minty copy of Cindy's Fashion World, which is the most expensive PAL game,
right?
about
Yeah.
£2,000. There wasn't a price on it; it was make offers only, and it went to PMs and things like that. But it's one of those games that it doesn't even show up once a year; it shows up every couple of years. So it's pretty special to see it.
Mhm.
There was also a copy of the most expensive PSP game show up. I'm just gonna grab the name of it. Bear with me 1 second.
Is it that one that was only at select hotels as like a tool
Mm-hmm.
or something?
Different one. I know the one that you're thinking of. This one is El Langry Online or something like that.
Okay, because I thought that
You
hotel
type in
was
PSP
like
game
the
on eBay. There's
rarest
one
UMD ever.
Yeah, and two people. Sebastian got his copy about 6 months ago. Here we go. It's called El Mintage Original. There's only 300 that exist. One's on eBay for $10,000. But yeah, someone on Facebook managed to get one for their full PSP set. Again, a full set collector. So that's 2 copies less. And
Mhm.
when full set collectors get these games, that's 2 copies that aren't in circulation anymore.
Till
unless
death.
they sell their collection, basically.
Yeah, till death,
Mhm.
pretty much, or the divorce, where she forces him to.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have a choice, boys.
Or if it's stolen.
There's that too.
There
Everyone's
are
worse than
crazy
me.
stories. We heard the story about the divorce and the kid sold off his dad's collection for dollars of what it was worth when it was worth like $200,000, and he sold it for like $2,000. Like those stories are out there.
I know. That's why every time I see a video or a story about somebody who got some great deal, I'm like, on the other end of that is some sad, sad man who's like, I went off to college and my damn mom stole my TurboGrafx collection. Why?
I like those stories that you hear when it's like someone's mum sold their collection, and it's like a 30-year-old or 40-year-old, and their mum still has their collection in their childhood house. It's like, if you're at that age, go and get it. Sorry, but your mum's probably at the point of her life where she wants to declutter the house.
That's true.
Fault.
That's fair, but at the same time, it's that's different, But like when I was a kid, like I remember, I'd split custody. I would go back between my parents' house, and one day my mom just decided to give away a bunch of my toys to the neighborhood kids. Because she's like, yeah, you're old. You don't need them anymore. And I came back. I'm like, where are my stuffed animals? She's like, they're gone. I gave them away. I'm like, you gave away Mr. Boo Boo. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So
like, just because you don't play with it doesn't mean it doesn't still
doesn't have
that
sentimental value. Yeah, I was attached. Even then, I was still attached to my stuff. So.
I had 2 very opposite parents where my dad's a bit of a hoarder and my mum's a declutterer. So they split up when I was a teenager. So dad held on to everything, and he had all the PS1 and some of like the PS2 stuff, and then PS2 games I guess we were playing, and PS3 stuff mum had, and sold all that stuff. But when I started collecting, I was able to go to my dad's and get my original PS1 games, my original PS1 box, and still had it all in the cupboard. Like it was just day one.
Jealous of you that your parents decided to keep like the original boxes. For mine back then, it was up until the Wii. As far as even like the game cases, we threw all that out. We just kept the game discs in like this little binder for every single system. Thankfully, today I have pretty much everything back that I used to have back in my youngest years. That really the only expensive one that I had to get was really just a Def Jam Fight for New York on PS2, which that was my brother's game back then. But anything else I would have had back then is nowhere near as expensive as that game is today.
It's almost how everyone starts collecting, and you guys are probably the same, right? You get into video games, you enjoy it, you buy a couple that you want to play, and then if you start collecting, you buy your childhood collection, right?
That's what
So
I
I did.
rebuilt. That started rebuilding my childhood PS1 collection, and then it just spiraled out of control, friends.
Thankfully,
It
the
was
only
like-
RPG I had back then was just Final Fantasy VII. So
Nice.
buying a lot of RPGs today, if I wanted to rebuild that childhood collection, thank God it's not expensive to achieve that like sub-series, your childhood games.
15
So that-
million of these exist.
But that's what I literally say. I was always into RPGs in general, but so I bought mostly RPGs from my childhood, and then I was like, well, what other RPGs are there on the PS1? And I'm like, I should get
So
those too.
many.
Those should be great. Yeah, I got them all except for Valkyrie Profile. And I don't know if I'm gonna pick that one up. I'd like to.
I
but
bought that thanks to Barbie as well.
pretty expensive, that one. I would like that one. Yeah, I would like Clock Tower 1 and 2 as well on PS1. But there's a lot of
My
stuff. on
Barbie
it.
experience was crazy
Mhm.
for from limited rare games where I bought it at retail and I ended up selling it for $2,500, and I used that money to buy games that were games that I wanted but were more expensive than I wanted to spend. But when you get money off a sale, you don't have that feeling of guilt buying something else, because it's like, no, this money was from the video game. I didn't work for it. I don't feel as guilty buying those things. And I was able to buy a few Holy Grails. I believe I knocked out a lot of the box Lego games after that, and like some of those were going for €100 a piece. And I want this set, but I can't justify spending €100 on just one box game. Where I think I dropped like $1,000 the night the money came in and just bought all this stuff.
So it's funny that you say that, because for so long I was always on like, I can't justify spending a lot on an expensive game when I can buy all these other things. And now I'm at the point where my space is running out, and I'm like, I prefer to buy expensive things. I'd rather just save up and get one thing, because at least I can store it and I have that one thing. Whereas opposed to like, there's lots of games that are cheap that I'm like, I want them. Then I'm like, no, I'm not picking that up. I don't have a room for it. Like it's a lot of games like that.
I get that, Joe. And once you start to run out of room, it then makes more sense to buy that one game that fits in the collection rather than.
And then you start selling 10 games to afford the damn thing, and then now I can buy like some more games. So it's all about, for me, I have to recycle up my stuff. That's all.
You guys want to play the Figsy quiz?
Oh hell yeah!
Might as well.
I was born for this.
That means chat, you guys are going to be playing as well. Let's get the chat score up. Bear with me 1 second. I'll just put it on the screen. That'll be easier. So chat score, we've got 2 people on 4 points. Jason, Trickster, and Mario. You guys both have 4 points. Banfi has 3 points. The Collectionist and Cyrus both have 2. And then on 1 point, we've got Windy Corner TV, Jimmy J, Lulu Girl, and Westman. So first person to 5 points will win a video game shipped anywhere in the world, meaning Jason and Mario, you guys have the chance to win a game today. So good luck. Once someone wins, points will be getting reset, and we will have a new competition, just to let you guys know. However, today's chat question, we need the full video game title. Only one person gets the point. First person to correctly name the full video game title in chat will get the point. We'll leave it up for a second while we get the quiz all ready. Joe, Devin, who would like to go first tonight?
I know. What do you want to do, dStreet? You're the guest. First or second?
Let's do second.
All right, Joe,
He's playing strategically.
So I can announce tonight we have. I would say it's a new style of question. So you guys know our new style of question we've been doing, where we pull up like 15 different images, and you guys got to guess the game. Well, Pavel's thought outside of the box, and today, what we're going to be doing for question 9 is I'm not going to pull up an image. However, I will be playing certain sounds from video games, and you guys will be taking turns to guess the sounds. There's 15 of them. They're not going to be theme songs, but there's certain sounds from video games. And it's really fun. Some really, really cool stuff in there. So it should be cool.
Okay.
No one's got the chat question yet, so let's get into the quiz. Oh, I better pull up the question. All right, Joe. Question number 1. How many PS3 games have Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank as a playable character? Is it 6, 7, 8, or 9?
Hey, no looking at your shelf.
What are you talking about? So I know how many actual mainline games there are, but here's the question. Is he in like some fighting game, or is he in a racing game, or is he in some sort of other thing?
It's like all of his appearances across all PS3
Every
games?
appearance that Ratchet made on PS3 as a playable
for
character.
God's sakes. I mean, this is, I will say 7.
Incorrect.
Damn! Sorry.
It's
I mean, over
8.
Incorrect. So the answer was 9. We had the
Jeez.
7 mainline Ratchet and Clank games, and then we had PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale,
Yeah.
PlayStation Move Hero.
Heroes.
Both of them.
Damn.
All right, moving on to question number 2. Devin, this one's for you. How many unique One Piece games are there on PS3? Are there 3, 4, 5, or 6?
There is 5.
Incorrect. Joe?
4.
Correct answer is 4. Joe takes the point.
Sweet. I mean, I've literally been buying One Piece games, so
There was a trilogy, and then
planet.
there was a 1 and 2 double pack, but mainline titles set the 4. All right, moving on to question number 3. Joe, this one's for you. In what Metal Gear game title, to create more than one save slot, you had to pay $10?
Metal Gear. I mean, I should know this. I'm assuming. Survive. I don't know.
Correct answer is Metal Gear Survive.
Okay,
Yep.
Sweet. I'm like,
Not
which
a
one
Metal
did
Gear question?
which one did everyone hate? Like, I think it was that one, so I'm assuming it must be that one.
All right, Devin. What is inside of this Game Boy?
That's Bomberman.
Well, it is Bomberman. That's not the answer we were looking for. Joe?
Like what's like it's like a swatter. It's like a squatter game. Squirt gun game thingy. Like you squirt the little things up. I mean, I don't know what you're asking.
Well, that's not the answer. So
Okay.
you might be thinking like that's not what it is. So
Then I don't know.
the correct answer was shampoo.
That's shampoo.
That's shampoo.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All right. Well,
How does it
Before
come
we move
out?
on to question number 5, I can confirm that we have a correct answer in chat. And getting 3 points, correct answer goes to the Collectionist. Well done,
Nice.
Collectionist. And the answer was IL2 Stummovig, Birds of Prey. That was a tough one.
very nice. Yeah, I knew the Birds of Prey, but I had no idea what that first part was.
Collectionist goes to 3 points, and you are now 2 points away from a video game. This is getting exciting.
That is, yeah. All these people be on 4 points.
All right, moving on to question 5. Joe, this one's for you.
Okay.
What does YLOD mean?
You live or die.
Incorrect. Devin?
Yellow light of death.
Oh, yeah, that makes
is
sense.
the yellow light of death.
Yeah.
Well, you might be correct, Joe. That was not the video game answer we were looking for.
That was the
Sure,
fun
yeah,
answer
sure.
that Joe
Sure.
gave.
I don't know. Like,
You live or die. All right, question 6. Devin, this one's for you. PS1 Taxi and Taxi 2 game titles are region exclusive for what European country?
Taxi games, these are?
Taxi 1 and Taxi 2.
I'm going to guess France.
Correct answer was France.
Hell yeah.
Well done, man.
How
Alright,
many
moving on to
potential
question.
answers you could give for Europe, you know? Oh,
Yeah. No, you did well. There's 54 countries in Europe. You did well.
I was gonna say
You're like, I only
Luxembourg.
know 2 of them.
Yeah, only 2 were coming to mind. The other was Spain.
All right, before we move on to the next round, we'll get a quick score update. Joe's out on 2 points, and Devin's also on 2 points. Game on, guys.
Very
So this
exciting.
next round is going to be guess the covers. I'm going to show you guys some photos, and you have to guess the game covers from the photos. Joe, here is your picture for the week.
Star Ocean Silver Story.
I'll pay that. It's Star Ocean's second story, but I'll pay that.
Oh, second? Oh, okay. All right, sorry.
Because silver's
Let's
like the
figure it.
second tier
Silver's
for
second.
trophies.
Oh, I'm thinking of Lunar. It all just meshes in my brain. Isn't that the Silver Story or something?
I don't know why Kingdom Hearts was coming to
Silver
mind for
Star
that.
Story is Lunar. Yeah. You give me the points, all right? Woo! I'll take it.
All right, Devin, here is your question of the week.
Why is it so hard? It is hard, though. I don't know.
Of just 2 images still. It's still hard.
What's up with that bird on the left, bro? What happened there? Looks like it's like dad showing off his crackhead son. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's a baby bird, and these feathers haven't formed yet.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. I'm being mean to the hideous looking baby.
I have no idea at all.
Now, pass, Devin.
Pass, yeah.
All right,
I'm
Joe?
terrible at these things.
Dude, this is a tough one, man.
And yet it's still only 2 pictures.
It's hard. What is that thing on the right? Like, I could interpret that in so many ways. It could be a square, it could be a pipe, it could be beams, it could be metal, it could be bird metal or something, beak metal or some shit. I don't know. Something metal, something flying metal, bird metal, flying beak squeaking.
Final answer, Joe?
No, I got nothing. No. I want one more time on the clock.
All right. Have 10 seconds.
I believe it is. I don't know. I got nothing.
Correct answer was
Birds of Steel. Okay, that makes sense.
That's what
Never heard of that game.
All right, guys. Before we move into our final round, just a quick score update. Joe's got 3 points. Gavin has 2 points. I'm going to read out the rules of our final round. The rules. You need to guess the sound effects from video games. There are 15 questions in total. You ask questions in turn from 1 to 15. The player with the fewest points starts. If a player does not know the answer and does not want to give an answer, the turn goes to the other player. But if a wrong answer is given, the player gets a strike. And you're allowed 3 strikes. However, you can't skip 2 in a row. So if you don't know it, you can skip once, but you can't skip twice. So if the other person doesn't know it as well, you have to try and answer it.
So you have to answer the sound effect or the game it's from.
I need the game it's from. So Devin, you're going to be starting. I can repeat the sound if you do need it repeated. So these are all going to be quite short. All right, Devin, here is your sound.
That's Gran Turismo.
That is Gran Turismo, correct. Joe, number 2.
Come on,
I'm not
Joe.
gonna do good on this. No, dude, I'm gonna be bad at this.
I mean, I love sound design in games overall, so I may have the
You're gonna
advantage here.
crush me, then. You're gonna crush me. I don't know. No
All right.
idea.
Do you want to pass or do you want to answer?
I want to pass.
Okay, Devin.
That's Tomb Raider, PS1.
That is Tomb Raider. That's the secret shrine sound. All right, question number 3. Devin, this one's for you.
That is Uncharted when you die.
That is the death sound from Uncharted.
I'm gonna get crushed. I don't know any of these.
You don't know that? You ever done crushing runs or
Bro.
the amount of times you die on the hardest difficulty?
Go ahead.
All right, question 4. Joe, this one's for you.
What have I got? Oh, it's Crash Bandicoot.
You
That
better,
is
I was
the sound
saying,
when
better
you
get
pick up
that.
an Aki in Crash Bandicoot.
Okay, thank God. All right. I'm Jesus. All right, thank God. I
All
got
right,
one.
question 5. Devin, this one's for you.
Play that again?
It's familiar. God, that's so familiar.
Is that from Dynasty Warriors?
Devin's got a strike.
No.
Joe?
God, it's some type of building sim game or something. Like oh shoot. Oh
Any of
God.
it?
I know it, dude. It's in my brain. It won't come out. It's killing me. Oh shoot. Is it Warcraft 2?
Joe
Some of
has
that.
a strike.
Damn it.
Now, because you both got it wrong, you guys can choose to pass, and we will go to another question, and we'll come back to this one at the end, or you can attempt to answer it again. It's up to you. So I will play the sound.
I know the sound. I played that game. I know it. I just can't tell you what it is.
I pass.
And Joe?
No. I'm not taking
All
another
right,
straight.
we'll come back to that one at the end. So the next one, Devin.
Major fracture detected.
That's Half-Life.
That is Half-Life, correct. Joe?
God, dude. They're all so familiar. I know
This
it.
is familiar, yeah.
I'm
You can
passing.
either guess or you can pass.
Pass.
All right, Devin.
I pass.
All right.
You didn't plan for this.
Yeah, we'll just move on to the next one. We will come back to these at the end.
Okay.
So, Joe, your next question.
It's definitely NES. Play one more time.
Sorry, just realized one
Okay.
was missing.
Definitely NES, dude. I don't know.
So you can either pass or guess.
Donkey Kong.
Joe's got another strike. Devin?
Duck Hunt. You know, that douchebag
Mm.
dog?
That is from Duck Hunt. That is correct.
Mhm.
All right, question 9, Joe. You are on 2 strikes. So
Yeah,
if you
I'm
have a
screwed.
strike, we lost it.
Dude, this is so hard. I can't place it. I know it all, but it's like, oh man, good. It sounds like one of them rabbit things to me, dude. Mario Rabbids, but I'm wrong. So go ahead.
Joe is locked out. Unfortunately, that was wrong.
Of
All right,
course
Devin,
it is.
you're the only one left. What is this one? You can pass if you like, or you can attempt to answer.
You'll pass this for now.
All right. Yeah, you can't pass this one.
Navi from OOT, Ocarina of Time.
That's
I knew
correct.
that one, bastard.
That's the only one that instantly sprung to mind, I take it.
All right, Joe. Unfortunately, Joe, you're out. But Devin,
I'm
here
dead.
is
I'm
your
done.
next one, and you can pass on this one too.
Is that Wii Sports?
That is not Wii Sports. Devin's got a second strike. So you can either pass or you can attempt to answer again.
Now, I know that noise. I've heard it a million times. I've played whatever that is. I just can't place these things, man. I don't know how you're so good at that.
It sounds like it'd be from a sports game or some arcade game. That's really familiar. Pass for now.
All right. Now, this next one you can't pass on.
Counter Strike.
That is correct. All right. Devin's still going. Number 14.
God damn it! I know these. I should have just shut up.
I know I've heard this so many times, but I've never played the game it's from. So
Yes, you have. Impossible. Although that's I haven't played Uncharted, so that's probably how you feel about that question too. So
I've played it, but I can't remember the death animation from Uncharted. But like on PS3 back in the day, you know.
Is that Earthworm Jim?
There's not Earthworm Jim, and Devin is now out. So I will
it's
go
Mortal
over one.
Kombat.
He's missed. That was Mortal Kombat.
I don't play Mortal Kombat, so I wouldn't know.
That sound here was from Tony Hawk.
I don't play
Yeah,
Tony
that's
Hawk.
definitely what it is. Tony Hawk. I've heard it a million times.
That was Pac-Man.
Yeah,
When did you play that one?
that's he had. He didn't play that one yet.
Did I miss that one? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was from Angry Birds. And the one you missed that Joe, I know you knew because you got the fucking genre.
Dude, I
Age
know.
Is-
Age of Empires. Yes, I'm
That was
saying,
Age
like,
of
it's
Empires, really?
I
played
it's
the
in
crap
my
out of
head.
that.
and I know it. Like with that, like Duck Hunt. I'm like, it's NES. I've heard it a million
That's
times.
the
I just
sound that
can't
happens when
place
you
it.
you level up your settlement. It will make that sound.
Wow.
There is one more, but you didn't get to the final question, so we'll save that for next week.
No, let's
Can
do it.
you go?
Come on.
Come on.
It was finished Joe 4, but out on 9 points.
What?
Big
No.
win this week
Wait.
goes to Devin.
No,
Congratulations.
that's not what I had. I had. I'm pretty sure this is what I had. Is that not right? No.
No, that's not
Just kidding.
Why did it say 37 Joe and me too?
No.
Well done,
All right.
Devin. That was impressive. with the
Congratulations, sir.
Good
Very nice.
comeback compared to last
Yep.
time. Good
Very
God.
nice.
sound. We had some redemption after last time.
You introduce sound design and music and games. Oh, I'm all over that stuff.
Awesome quiz again this week, Pavel. That was
Yeah,
really
that
fun.
was cool. There was good sounds too, because it wasn't just like soundtracks. It was these are in the game. And
Oh, it was all good stuff, and it was all recognizable. It's just like I said, I've abused my brain, boys. It doesn't work like it's supposed to anymore. I don't know. It's just what it is.
And collectionist, well done, man. That was a hard one again in chat. I know
Mhm.
chat's questions have been getting a little bit harder, so well done to be getting the points.
They have the worst of it. Like, I mean, those questions of like, hey, random pictures of nothing to do with anything. I can't do that worth shit. I'm terrible at that stuff. So
I
I'm glad
love
I'm not
those
in
ones.
chat for that.
Hey, dstreet, I wanted to ask what you've been playing, man.
Well, glad you asked. Last night I finally played through Police Knots for the first time.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And that was with the official PlayStation mouse that I got like a month or two ago. And safe to say, it's probably the weakest game Kojima's ever made, honestly. It's still a good game, keep in mind, but it's not memorable at all. I could only name like one thing from that game that would be like very iconic and memorable because like say like MGS 1, 2, 3, like there's so many memorable moments in those games and it's still so much fun as well too, especially MGS3. But Police Knots is just yeah, that was a good story and the setting was cool and the two main characters, Jonathan Ingram and Ed, they were pretty likable characters, but it's just a game like yeah, I played that and I'm probably going to forget about in like 2 months possibly. But regardless, very happy to finally play that game because Kojima is my favorite developer ever. And then what I plan on playing next will, I don't know, probably one of those 3 games, possibly, or maybe this game, Cold Fear, or
Oh,
maybe
that's the
Parasite
one.
Eve, possibly. Parasite Eve, I played like halfway through it, maybe like a year ago. I don't know why I didn't finish it at the time, but hopefully, like this month, I'm gonna go back and actually play through this finally.
That's
I really enjoyed.
I
Cold
want
Fear, Phil.
I want Parasite Eve to have a remake more than anything. That deserves a proper PS5 HD remaster, rebuilt from the ground up.
Absolutely.
Like,
That's the one IP.
Screw The Last of Us. Give me Parasite Eve.
That's the one IP Square Enix owns that they need to bring back is Parasite Eve compared to anything else that they own, in my opinion.
I think it would be a huge success.
No, I'll disagree. Sleeping Dogs needs to come back. We need a Sleeping Dogs too.
I'm surprised they didn't make a sequel to that. That game was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was awesome, and they didn't. And it came out in 2010, and it was so like awesome for its time, and like the Yakuza series blew up. Why didn't they do a second one? Like, come on. I would put it down to it. They put out a GTA clone, and it didn't sell like a GTA game. That's why they didn't put a second one out.
So it's a pretty high bar to set for yourself. But
Oh yeah, Saints Row tried to do that and it seemed like it definitely had its audience, but it's now just a dead franchise. Personally, I never liked Saints Row. I've always just preferred GTA for those types of games, but it'd be nice to have, alternatives of equal quality.
Figures on the job. What are you looking up, buddy?
So Sleeping Dogs sold in its first year over 1.5 million copies. Like, and they didn't make a sequel.
Because Square Enix's sales expectations are ridiculous. Like it feels like all their games, no matter what, if it's not Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts, they need to sell at least 10 million copies in order for them to consider a success. I swear, they're the worst company or like publisher that's like that these days. Ever since the 2010s, they've been like that.
That qualifies for a greatest hits game. Like, there's 70 games that got greatest hits on PS3, or I don't know, less than 100. Like that's one of the best-selling games, and they're just like, nah, we'll just move on.
Well, at least they
That was
made
fun
a
while it
definitive
lasted.
edition.
Like, they don't
of
even
it
make
later on.
games like that anymore. It's disappointing. I love Sleeping Dogs. I talk about it on this podcast all the time because it's such an amazing game.
Well,
That's
as
one of
much
the
as
things
Joe
that,
does for Brave Fencer Musashi.
I love that game.
I plan on getting that pretty soon, hopefully, whenever I find it for a good price. But I'm itching more and more that I finally want to get that game and play it for myself.
So I would love to have that. Like, I don't want that remade, but like a graphic spruce up, a HD remaster, Brave Fencer Musashi, that'd be great. Same voice actor. Oh, I'd love it.
What, you don't like can't remember the person that plays the main character, but it's the same person that did Ash Ketchum, right?
I think so.
It sounds
Maybe.
very, very similar. So they
do
better not
sound
change
extremely
that
similar.
voice actor right there, because whatever he plays, or I think it's a woman that
I think it's a
plays him.
woman, yeah.
Like, don't change any role that person had. It's always iconic whenever she plays a character in anything.
Yeah.
But talking about
Lectionist
Sleeping
says,
Dogs.
wasn't Sleeping Dogs technically just True Crime 3? I technically it was, really, but like completely different games. But yeah, technically right there.
One of
But
the
you
things
didn't have to play True Crime games to understand Sleeping Dog. It wasn't like stories continued or anything like that. It's in a different continent,
I think giant open worldy type games just cost a goddamn fortune to make, so that's why they have to have those insanely high expectations for sales figures. Whereas like a normal budgeted game, they would be more than happy to have that, if that makes sense. But Square doesn't do any like low budget anything. So I just, I think that's a problem in the game industry in general. It's just like some of these games just cost too damn much to make. And so then they have to sell 10 million of them to make money. It's the same problem Walt Disney has with their movies. It's like they're like, they made 100 million, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, they lost
Cost
50.
500 million to make.
Yeah, how'd they lose it? Well, because it costs 250 to make, 100 to advertise, and they only made 180. So it is.
Well, like a Mr. Beast video, how he spends $2 million to make these videos, so they have to get 100 million views, or can't make the next one.
Yeah.
But it is a good thing. Like, I know GTA 5 at the time was the most expensive media ever made, and obviously it made bank. So they're going to be putting in money on GTA 6. It'll be the most expensive thing ever made when it comes.
Just imagine when they do like upload the first like real trailer for that game.
It'll break the internet.
It's going to break the planet, for God's sakes. If GTA 5 was anything to go off back then, and it's still like one of the best-selling games today, or like games that like whatever that chart is that we discussed last time, where like what's the game that has sold the most with throughout like this month, like GTA 5 is almost always there.
Yeah, every single month for the last more than 10 years now, GTA have been in like the top 10 sales.
Yeah. So just imagine
games that make it once
comes out.
Imagine if that was a song. One song had been in the top 10 from 2013. It's still a top 10 song. Like, that is unheard of. Songs do it for
Imagine if that song was Mbop by Hanson.
I don't know that song, honestly.
But like you couldn't have a movie in the cinemas for 10 years. Like, that's what we'd be looking at, like a movie that is still being shown. People are still selling out.
Get it out of theaters.
You guys showing GTA 5? I know it came out 10 years ago, but we still want to see it at the cinemas. Like, that's like buying a game at retail price 10 years later.
That's weird.
And whenever I do go to my...
A minute ago, I had a meme that Pavel shared about Ash Ketchum. When you're 47 and you're still trying to catch them all.
Just the eyes just make it look really bad.
The bald head. Oh my god.
For all I know, that's what he looks like under that hat. So.
Yeah, who knows?
After how long he was on the show.
We doing?
Joe, you been playing anything new lately? I know
yeah.
Smashing out a lot of Beat Saber.
Well, I was playing Beat Saber until I was forced to retire because my headset is piece of crap. I've been playing that game Undermine a lot. I don't know, I've been streaming it too. That game is really fun. You ever played it? dStreet, ever heard of it?
That's that Zelda roguelike, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've recently been playing that since last month, and it's like, wow, that's really fun. Really enjoying it. Just play it on and off like once every week or so.
Yeah, so I get addicted to these types of games, and I will just put a million hours and unlock everything, and then I get bored and move on to the next one.
My most favorite is still Enter the Gungeon. Mainly
love that game
because the music is really good. Even though I don't listen to it when I'm not playing the game, it's amazing when you're playing the game. It's one of those soundtracks for a game. But another thing that really adds to the flavor, I swear, the developers of Gungeon, their favorite game series is probably Metal Gear because of the amount of references that's in the game. I mean, they have 2 secret boss fights they added in updates that's literally Metal Gear fights. And the last one they did, which was the Hind D from MGS1, Cam Clark is in the game, and he voices the boss. Like is the only character in that game that actually is talking, that his voice is Cam Clark, who plays Liquid Snake.
They could do something cool, like make it that you have to like change to player 2 on the controller to do the boss fight or something like that. Where we had to pull the controller out and put it in the second.
If they somehow implemented a Psycho Mantis fight into that game, it's like, okay, like you guys are You guys made the ultimate fan service video game for Metal Gear.
Yeah, they just they're releasing an Enter the Gungeon, Exit the Gungeon Switch combo cart. I'm gonna pick up soon. So I don't think it's coming out on PS4 though with the Exit the Gungeon game.
Exit the Gungeon does have a physical release on PS4, but only in Europe, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And Enter the Gungeon was
Special reserve.
yeah, I think was Special Reserve. It wasn't Limited Run
Mhm.
Games. It was one other company. It was
Oh, it's
probably
Special Reserve. I know for a fact because I remember they had a blind box sale and I got 6 copies of Enter the Gungeon. And I called them and I was like, I'll freaking stab you. And I sent them back and then they sent me a bunch of different games.
Oh my
Hey,
god.
Blind box. Here's all the same game.
They gave me
Well,
6
I
copies of
want
Enter the
one of these
Gungeon,
books.
and I was like, "This is completely unacceptable." I'm like,
I was
I'm
gonna
going to
s-
return everything. I'm going to drive down to Texas and drop this off on your face if you don't give me my money
I
back.
was gonna say, if you still have one of those, can you send one my way? Because I really want a copy of it
Mm.
badly. I love that game so much.
Where you got like
I'll look.
$500
I might have 2. If I do have 2, I swear to God, I'll give you one. I don't know. I might. I definitely have.
Please
one.
do. I want one. I love that game. It's one of my favorite indie games. Best one being Cave Story, IMO.
Well, I love Cave Story as well. I want to get that on 3DS. That one's pricey, but I have that on Switch. And
Speaking of, I'll show you something related to Cave Story. That's
I got the
weird that I have.
I have the Nicholas launch edition version of that game with the manual inside of it still. Field.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I have so when I first started collecting for the Switch, I literally bought all of the Nicholas launch editions, and then I bought another copy of all of them so I could open them all. So I have 2 copies of all of the launch editions.
I mean, it's kind of your favorite publisher, right?
Well, I was obsessed with The Binding of Isaac, and he appeared in several other games, so I started getting those, and then I just was like, I just like subsets and like going.
When it's your favorite, like From Software, I have every version of Dark Souls. You know, the Japanese version, the American version,
Yeah.
the UK version, the Australian, because it's my favorite game, and I want to own every little different cover that they did.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not like it's expensive to go and buy a Japanese cover of a game. But if it's got different artwork and it's your favorite, then it's special to you.
I've been doing that lately with there's a lot of games that get a really badass Korean cover, and they all have English. So I've been getting games that have the Korean version too, because I'm like, it's just so cool. I want the artwork. Like the Gungor Grave has a badass Korean cover, and I was like, well, I'm buying that just because I want it. So.
I'm like that for Resident Evil games. Like I'm gonna buy like every region version of it because it's one of my favorite series and one of the cooler ones to buy for like other regions because the box art is completely different for like the older games at least. I mean, Japan alone, you know, it's called Biohazard over there, so the name's already different. And another one that I want, at least like all Japanese versions, is the Final Fantasy series for all the mainline games and some spin-offs if the price is reasonable. But what I want to show.
Nice, man.
So this is just a standard copy of it, and this one here, it's the lenticular cover of it. I remember I did get this back when it first came out, but that was at that time when I sold all my 3DS stuff to get a Vita, which I'm glad I did, but I did end up getting this back. The funny thing is, I got to figure out which one has it. Yes, so the lenticular one doesn't have the cartridge, but my other one, it does have it.
Nice.
If I remember,
It's a really good version of the game.
It is, though it is lacking like most of the extra modes that came with like Cave Story Plus, but it's still a pretty unique version that alone is worth playing though.
Yeah, I loved that game on I played it on the Switch. Absolutely loved it.
And that's probably the best version of the game because of like quality of life features they added to it. I mean, they fixed that the worst part in the game, which was the dog escort mission, where all the other versions, except the Switch versions, you had to get the dogs individually one by one. The Switch version, you find one, you come across another one, you're going back, you can pick it up, and you have a tower of dogs on quotes back. For some reason, it looks stupid, but that made that quest way less tedious, thankfully.
So what else have I been playing? I'm on the like the end of Dead Space. I just have to pick it up and finish it. I'm like at the very end of that. And
May have to pick that up this month.
that game's sick. Yeah, that was like my first Halloweeny. I don't know why I said it like that. My first Halloween game. But I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm not sure. I'm gonna play another horror game next time. I've decided. But and then I've been playing this game called Plate Up. It's a co-op cooking game, kind of like Overcooked. I don't know if you guys ever played Overcooked.
I played Overcooked with my
You've
friends.
told me about Plate Up before, actually. I've looked into it. It looked cool.
Oh, dude, I love Overcooked. It's like I legitimately like everybody. You know, you want GTA 6. I want Overcooked 3 that badly. Like I want Overcooked 3
Overcooked so good.
badly, dude.
If you get like a 4-stack of friends to play, which I had back then, I gotta tell my friends to play it again on PC one of these days. But it can be a very, very fun co-op game, but it also can be the most stressful game of all time.
Oh yeah,
it's so stressful.
It tests relationships for sure.
It's very, very simple to understand what you have to do in the game. Like for me, I jumped in late when my friends were like way into the game, like late game. So I was doing like end game stuff, and yet I was just starting brand new. But I picked up really fast on it though. So it's very simple game to learn. Just you better have the most coordinated team of all time, like way more than any competitive game ever.
Yeah, it's literally like it's beautiful to watch when everybody's doing their thing and everybody's working as a team and this guy's doing that, passing this, and it's all like this big machine. I love it.
Did you ever get to the level where it's
I've beaten the whole game like 1,000
you've
times.
beaten the whole
yeah, we 4-starred the game. Like we're insane. Me and my girlfriend are obsessed.
We stopped playing when we came across the level where there's like a cross of like a whole crevice, and you had to have someone get on like a moving platform, and like one person
With
had
the
to like turn
switches?
something.
Yeah,
Like, when we first saw that, we had to pause and like try to think of what we're supposed to do, and it was like, screw this, we need a break. My brain really hurts right now trying to think of
that's so all our Overcooked games would either end in like, oh my god, my brain hurts, I can't do this anymore, or a huge fight. That's the only way they end. That's the only way they end. Where it's like, put the thing in the put it in the thing. Put it. It's on fire! God damn it! Why did you do it? And everyone's yelling at each other. That's the end of the game.
It's so stressful, but at the same time, so much fun.
I love it. And
Sounds like a game we should all play together on stream.
dude, that's what I've been trying to tell you. We should play it on
We
stream.
should, yeah. When you get a 4-stack, I'd be all for it. I do have it. I do have all of the. What was the all-you-can-eat edition on PS5? That's all the games in one, right?
That's the best version. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
want
got
that
that
version.
years ago, so yeah, I have that at least.
So the very first game was missing some quality of life. Like you can't like throw stuff to each other, and like some of the like you don't have as many options of buttons and stuff. So the all you can eat version gives you like all of those features in the for the first game too.
Okay.
So it's really the version you want to play. Anyway, the whole point of that was Plate Up is a game that's not available physically yet. I think it's coming out in March, but it was on Steam, and I saw the ad for it, and I was like, I ain't waiting until March. I want more Overcooked in my life today. And it's basically like an Overcooked clone, kind of, but it's like a roguelite. So it's like never ending Overcooked. So it's what I wanted. Good. Yeah, it's just you can just keep playing it forever, and it's definitely not the same. And there's definitely differences about it, but it's definitely scratching that itch. Like I love it. So Plate Up is what it's called. If you're looking for a party game, co-op game, yeah, couch co-op. It's not a one-player game. It's not. It would be a terrible experience. I don't think.
Yeah.
But if you do have friends to play with, girlfriend to play with, something like that, it's one of the best co-op games, hands down. Love it.
Nice. I've really been putting in a lot of hours playing games lately. I'm enjoying the new FIFA. That's my little like casual thing where I'll do eBay work and I'll do like 5 listings, play a game, do 5 listings. I don't know if you guys obviously don't play FIFA, but people watching, there's an award ceremony at the end of the year in career mode. The first time they've ever added that. So my mind blew the other night when I was watching an award ceremony for my players. Apart from that, I've almost finished Starfield. I'm pretty close to the final mission. But the game that I've been really putting hours into is GeoGuessr, and I'm probably putting in like 5 or 6 hours a day on really learning the game. I studied Brazil for like 4 hours yesterday and learned all the Brazilian phone codes. So that's how into this game I am getting.
Nice.
But I'm streaming it too. If you guys want to watch, I'm streaming it over on Twitch because it's got such a big community over on Twitch where I don't want to split my stream up and do things like that. And it's got some really fun games that you can play with Twitch. So if you guys want to get it in play, it's a paid game, but if you're playing with someone, you don't have to pay, so it's free. I'm going to try and stream Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays at the same time. So starting tomorrow at a certain time, I'll really start to try and stream. On top of that, there's a World Cup for GeoGuessr starting tonight. So yeah, if you want to check out the game, the World Cup starts tonight, and it's probably the best time to ever check it out because it's all the best players in the world are all in Sweden right now, and the World Cup starts in like 5 hours. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Now, how did you know they're in Sweden? Was it the street signs, or was it the cars? Like,
yeah, it was the street signs, and the O had 2 dots above it, not the slide like Norway.
Gotcha. Yeah, GeoGuessr makes me feel really ignorant. That's all.
It's one of those things that I thought I was good at the game 6 months ago, and now that I'm still playing, I watched a video of me playing it back in the day. I'm like, oh my god, how could I have not picked the country from that street sign? Or that's Portuguese. Why am I talking about Spanish countries? But it's good because you don't feel guilty in putting in like 8 hours a day because you're learning something. So I can play it all day and not feel guilty that I'm playing games all day, which is great.
So like FIFA is your guilty pleasure casual game, you said?
Yeah, if I'm not working while playing FIFA or haven't done work, I'll feel bad. Same with Starfield. Like I have to finish all my work for the day before I play Starfield. Starfield's like my start at midnight, play it till I'm tired type game.
I think mine recently is probably Apex Legends on PC. I used to play that a little bit back then. I got about like 100 hours into it. I just like got back into it recently, like last week, really thanks to watching some, if I could say it right, Niji-san channels. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that group on YouTube, where basically a bunch of VTubers. Though it originally started where I found one, her name's Poma Rainpuff, that she discovered Metal Gear for the first time, and it's like her favorite thing ever that she went as far as to buy the MGS3 pachinko machine, believe it or not.
Oh, goodness.
Despite she just learned about the series earlier this year, she loved it so much. She went out and bought that patchy slot machine, and God knows how much it cost.
I bet it's a fortune, dude. I think I would definitely like to own that, or the Silent Hill one they made. Those are freaking cool, dude. I mean, I'm not a pachinko, but they would be cool to have.
It'd be cool to have because the sake of what it is. Despite when it came out, we all hated them so much.
Oh well, that's because we're all over here freaking dying for games. We don't want a pachinko machine. It's like, geez.
Yeah, but this might be a really good segue to my show and tell because I pulled out that Metal Gear Solid piece from my collection.
Yeah, I've been eyeing that in the corner of you over there.
Just sitting over here. I wanted to show this one off. So,
what you got, boy?
You guys know I sold most of my consoles, but I kept my favorite one, and it is the Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriot Japanese limited edition. Now, what's special about this is it's actually got limited edition printed on the console. It's one of 4 box PS3s that does this. It is slightly a different color too.
Yeah, it's like a different gray.
Mm-hmm. It is a beautiful box. It's in perfect condition.
Yeah,
and I have found a spot for it in the game room. It used to live in one of my closets, so it means more to me now that I get to look at it every single day.
Looks like you just bought it brand new. That's how good condition it looks.
Basically, yeah. Like apart from this corner here, which is still almost like a 9 out of 10, it's perfect. So,
Jesus. One day I'll get the MGS4 PS3 bundle that we got in the States. Whenever I have that much money to just blow on Metal Gear stuff, that'll be definitely before the patchy slot machine.
Oh, it's so cool.
But
there is a North American and PAL version of this console too, but it hasn't got the limited edition printed on the console. So if you want the console art, you have to buy the Japanese version.
I think for the North American one, it's just a standard looking fat PS3,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
It's
you're
got the fancy
essentially
box, but-
like today you just be buying it because of like the original box and like if it came with any extra goodies related to MGS4.
basically, yeah.
You want me to go next?
Yeah.
We doing show and tell? We doing that? Yeah. We're doing. Cool. So, you guys ever played Dungeon Keeper? You ever heard of a game called Dungeon Keeper? Anybody know what that is?
Sound like a free game that was on PlayStation at one point.
Yeah, it might have been. There was a free mobile game for it, but it was originally like a PC game, and it's
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, and it was like you would build tunnels underground and trade monsters and try to like invade the countryside, and you were like an evil monster. You were like the bad guy, and I just remember loving that when I was a little kid. They have spiritual successors on the PS3. There are those Overlord games. You've seen Overlord?
Oh,
1
yeah,
and
yeah,
Overlord 2.
Mhm.
I believe that's like in either the same company or the same universe, or they're based on that same franchise or whatever, but they're different. Anyway, long story short, I found out these games existed. I've never played them. I don't know if they're any good, but they were described as Dungeon Keeper meets Warcraft, and I really like both of those things. And so it's called Dungeons 3.
Oh, dude, this is amazing. Amazing game. I bought this, and
Yeah.
the guy I bought it from got
Mhm.
so excited that I was buying this because he was playing it on PC at the time. And
Mhm.
I was like talking to a kid in a candy shop, but I was the one
Yeah.
buying it, not him.
It looks dope.
There's a second version of this, I believe. Let me pull it out.
So on PS4, there's Dungeons 2 and there's Dungeons 3. I ordered Dungeons 2 and Dungeons 3.
You're gonna
This
hate
is
me,
the
though. There's
this
a
is the
complete edition of Dungeons 3.
well, this is
all
that's
DLC.
this is the extremely evil edition. I don't know. Is that not the same thing? I don't know. Either I'm not worried about the complete edition right now. I've never even played it. See if I like it. If I like it, I'll pick that up too. to be honest with
Includes PSN voucher for the DLC.
Yeah, so whatever. I don't care. I'm not. This isn't something I need a brand new sealed copy anyway. I bought this used, so it just looked like something I was curious about. Like I said, I love Dungeon Keeper, so if it's anything like that, I'll be happy to play it.
I only heard amazing things about it, so give it a go.
Yeah, dude, it was also pretty cheap. And then I also picked up Warhammer Vermintide 2.
Nice.
It's like an FPS game. You can play it solo, but I believe it's more like a little geared towards playing co-op, 3 or 4 people at a time. Like I've seen people streaming a lot, and it's usually a couple people playing it at a time. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try to get a group online, or maybe I'll play it by myself. But again, it was like $8, something like that on Amazon. It's like, hell yeah.
I actually pulled them out of my collection and put them on eBay this week because they're just. I like Total War Warhammer games, but I don't like those Warhammer games. They're just not for me. So
Sure. I mean, I've never played it, so I might hate it. But like I said, I figured I'd give it a try for like $8. Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
I love Warhammer, so it's like one of those franchises. I'm like, I'll give it a try just to see how it is, even though a lot of it's bad.
did you ever get into any Warhammer?
In real life, like the actual tabletop game, I've played it before, but I never got into painting models or all that stuff. So basically, I have friends who I would just use their armies and play at their houses and stuff.
That's good.
Yeah, which I love it. It's great, but like, it's just
it's a hobby that's like you either do video games or you like just do that because it's expensive.
Well, that's the thing. It's one of those. It's like people are like, how come you don't like comics? I'm like, I just don't have time for. I have two. I collect. I'm into guitars. I'm into fucking games. I'm into like records. I don't have time or money for more stuff. All right, freaking. I gotta work anyway. I also got Guilty Gear XRD Rev 2. So I've been.
I love XRD Revelation 1. That was great.
I've never played this particular version of the game, but I mean, every Guilty Gear I've ever played is awesome. So I'm assuming this one is just as good. I've been working on trying to round out my PS4 fighting game collection.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of King of Fighters games. What the hell?
There's
so many, dude. What the? And they're very
we
expensive.
Also got the best King of Fighters games are all on the PS4. How good is that? The collection, is it Amiga collection?
I'm gonna just ask Reggie which ones I have to get and pick like 3.
Yes, he's a fighting game nut.
Well, I know he loves that franchise too,
Mhm.
but I just
King of Fighters is amazing though. I still think is it 14? No, 13 is the best. The Atlas one after.
Well, the one I was most familiar with is like the 2000 one. I used to play the PlayStation one a lot. Loved that game, but I haven't played it much since. So, speaking of fighting games, I also got Blaze Blue Central Fiction. It's probably a better version of this too, a complete Super Ultra Edition. Or something. I have no idea, but either way,
PS3 version is more expensive.
Yeah, in the States, the PS3 version, it's like a $200 game now.
Oh, well, I'm happy to have this.
You at least got that.
Far
yeah.
cheaper version. Dude, I freaking love the PS4, man. I don't see myself like it's funny. Like for a while, I was like, I'm going to start buying PS5 and I like stopped buying PS5 games. I'm just like, screw that. I'm going back to PS4. I just
you can buy them all on the PS5. So it's like,
yeah, I don't see I just would rather.
It'd be like in 20 years' time, you bought the PS2 version instead of the PS1 version.
And PS4 games overall are very, very cheap now because a lot of people are getting rid of that stuff because they want PS5s now. So
hell yeah, I'm gonna be driving every Best Buy in New England. Give me all them games. So another,
but I've got money.
yes,
Legally robbing stores. I do that all the time. Leaving like you've robbed them with a smile.
I don't know what it is. This is probably a pretty niche genre, but I've been kind of like, I don't know. I like dungeon crawlers. You guys ever played it? I don't know. I bought this one, Labyrinth of Zangetsu.
That looks cool.
that artwork does look pretty cool. I've never gotten into dungeon crawlers, but I do want to try it out. Though the first game's probably going to play is the Etrian Odyssey games that I got on 3DS.
So I love Etrian Odyssey. I think those games are great. So my favorite, like one of my favorite RPGs of all time is Phantasy Star 1, and it has that like first person's perspective.
Yeah, on the Master System.
Yeah, and I've always dug that style, and so like Etrian Odyssey, I really like the Skull Keep games on Sega CD and stuff like that. Like and even like Might and Magic games, like those real hardcore RPG. I love that shit. So I got the Lost Child recently, and I got this one. I ordered Mary Skelter. I'm gonna try to pick up all of the dungeon crawlers basically on PS4 because I just think it's a cool genre, and I just have a feeling too. I don't know why. If Etrian Odyssey is any example, they're gonna be very collectible, very expensive down the line.
Because it is a really, really niche genre. Even amongst RPG fans, it's still like a really niche sub-genre.
It's almost like virtual novel niche type games, but they're really fun if you're into like strategy and stuff. They're not action. It's all brain
and stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, if you're somebody who's into like old school gaming, tabletop gaming, old school RPGs, like you have an imagination, they're fun, and it's a lot of strategy to it. If you like turn-based combat, I love those games.
Let's say like in the early 80s and the early 80s, those were like the RPGs that were on PC for the most part.
Yeah.
Those dungeon crawlers.
Like Ravenloft. Like that.
Joe, did you ever play the Heroes of Might and Magic games?
Which ones? I probably have.
Ones on PC, like Heroes of Might and Magic 2 or 3.
Oh yeah, with the top-down perspectives or whatever. Yeah. I played a little bit.
I'm in this community on
Facebook.
Ultimas
as well. So.
Heroes of Might and Magic 3. There's like 50,000 members in there, and I'm talking like posts get like 10,000 likes. They're so popular.
That's awesome.
So many people still playing that game. I still play it. I played it probably in the last 2 months. It's such a good game.
Yeah, like people have RuneScape and shit still too.
There's online servers that fans have made, and like the online community is still a thing, which is so cool for a game that came out in 1999.
I do think that's awesome. I love RPGs and I love old school RPGs. So speaking of RPGs, so this is like I actually spent some money on this. Unfortunately, I had to spend money. I didn't like it. I had no choice. This is one of those games that I used to own and I had sold it off like a freaking idiot. And so I had to
what is it?
I had to rebuy it for like way more than I got for it when I sold it. Pissed me off, but it's not that much. It's just I picked up finally Dragon.
DQ8.
Yeah. This is irritatingly expensive because you can get it on PS2 for pretty cheap, and the PS2
Mhm.
version's dope. But gotta have it on my 3DS collection because I have to. Dude, I had all of the Dragon Quest games on DS and 3DS. I had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I sold them all.
I'm
So,
only missing
rebuilding them now.
DQ4 on DS. I have both 3DS games myself, and I think 4 is the only one I'm missing on the DS, not including like any of the spin-off stuff, but like the mainline games. I'm just missing 4 on DS.
I'm
Yeah, I had
missing
them all.
Switch, the builder games, and they are so expensive. And I really want them because they're so much fun.
Which
The
one's the Dragon Quest? Yeah, all those games are sick.
I got them on PS4, but I want them on the Switch because I want to play it on my Switch. It sucks.
They're like, I don't know what the Australian copies are, but the American copies are like $70, $80 to get Dragon Quest Builders 1. And I think 2 is like 40 to 50 or something like that.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna look at the Australian copy because it's probably like $200. Or something.
Everything else, everything in Australia, just add another 100 on top.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
It's
they,
ridiculous.
they screw you guys over. Terribly sorry about that, Pixie.
Well, it's like everything that gets released, they get like half the amount, I'm
I
assuming.
know, right? It sucks.
So, or they get a PAL game with a sticker on it. Some crap. All right, here we go. Here's the best pickup of the week. The prime pickup. I saved the best for last, which is insane because you get the PS4 copy for like $5, dude.
I know. It makes no sense. Right?
But yeah, I had to pick this bad boy. It's been on the list. Holy Grail. Yum Cook Star.
Yum Cook Star.
Says in the back, this ain't your mama's kitchen, boy. It's yeah, I just got it for my girlfriend. She likes these games. So.
You probably like it too if it's anything like the cooking simulator you're talking about.
I do like these games. I mean, I like to say I buy these games for my girlfriend, but I should do. That's something we should do. So I should show off my cozy game collection, like all my farming sims and I have so many that I bought for my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I love that genre too, Joe. We could do a whole episode on like cozy.
Dude, we should do some videos. We should do some things. That'd be so, yeah. And that's all my pickups.
All right, go through mine then. Don't have anything special, really only like 2 things of note. But first thing, this is an NES game. What?
Man, Fixie are having a Mexican standoff with the thing.
And then we both like collide, and then we both try to walk at the same time, walk into each
And then
other.
we stopped at the same time. But it's like we're both trying to walk through the same door at the same time. Anyway,
Jesus.
go ahead.
So first thing, it's an NES game. It's called Dragon Power. Hold up, is my camera messed up?
Yeah, we posed in a really happy spot. So that's all right.
You did. You're like,
I don't know what's wrong with the camera today. It's been acting weird, but all right. First game, it's Dragon Power for the NES.
Nice.
Don't you love that that label
Nice
art
label.
right there? Looks great. I know it's hard to see, but
that's a
Clean
nice label
for a
though.
page,
Yeah,
definitely.
very clean. Good
very
quality.
definitely fits the style of the 80s back then, you could say. But fun fact, this is actually a Dragon Ball game, believe it or not.
Wow, that's
like
cool.
like the characters, they are literally Dragon Ball from the original series, not the DBZ.
I can see it now that
series.
you mentioned that. That's really cool.
Mhm. The gameplay, it's there's sections where it's like top down.
Oh, this is not even Dragon Ball Z. You're saying this is like from the old
Yeah,
Dragon Ball?
the original
Oh,
Dragon
wow.
Ball that came out prior when Goku
Okay.
was like an infant or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it's got a top down perspective that's kind of similar to the original Legend of Zelda, and then there will be some like rooms where it's like a normal 2D plane, kind of like Ninja Gaiden, let's say. It's probably my favorite thing that I got, and I did show this off last month. The MGS Legacy Collection, the art book bundle specifically. I did have this game.
Right?
Yeah, it is pretty valuable now. Like ever since the Master Collection was revealed, like the value of this and the original HD collection went up because essentially, like this is the same thing as the Master Collection. So we're just going to charge you guys essentially the price of a brand new game with this release, but a little bit more because this does include like an art book bundle for this version of it specifically. But the reason I got this, not just because I'm a Metal Gear fanatic, but my original copy right here, it has a major problem that I don't know how this happened. You see on like the very back how
Say water damage, yeah.
I'm guessing that's water damage. I don't ever remember spelling anything on this, but I just randomly took it off the shelf and looked at the back, and my heart died literally
Mm.
inside.
Maybe humidity.
Possibly humidity, don't know. But regardless, I wanted to get this anyways because of the art book, anyways, and it's Metal Gear, so price almost
It's an
doesn't matter
interesting
for
one,
this.
that, because that got reprinted in 2020, but the price is already back up to what it was prior to it being reprinted. So it's like one of those games. It doesn't matter how many copies are out there; they're all going to sell out, and people want Metal Gear Solid in their
No,
collection.
oh yeah, people want Metal Gear definitely nowadays, thanks to all the awesome announcements recently.
I would like to argue that when the PS5 version comes out, will that drop in price? Because there is then a better way to play it.
Possibly, who knows? It's hard to say in its current state right now, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens with it. I really can't predict anything with that. So next thing, this is a Japanese import, and just bought it because I thought like the artwork is a pretty cool alternative compared to what we got. It's Wild Arms Altered Code F, the Japanese version on the PS2.
That's cool, man.
The just like the art style is like completely different compared to what we got. I think it was like a complete white background almost, and the characters on this are like way more prevalent on this. I think for like the North American art, it's like they're like much smaller on here. So just got it because it was like $10 compared to the North American version, which is like $140, I think. Yeah, that right there.
Yeah, it is.
That's the
Completely different artwork, though. Yeah, different sky.
I don't know, man. Mine says it was 1999. So I don't know. Just kidding.
Anyways, probably the most valuable thing that I got, and possibly for this whole month, truth be told, but it is Drakengard 2.
Oh,
PS2.
nice, man.
I did
years finding that, and I bit the bullet, and it's still shot up in price since then. So well done.
It was way more expensive like a few years ago when Nier Replicant was coming out and was like one of the best games of that year, but it's still pretty valuable, of course, because now that Nier is way more popular these days, thanks to Nier Automata, then all of Yoko Taro's games are much more valuable in general. I do have Drakengard 1 and 3, and as well as copies of all the Nier games, so safe to say like series complete at this point. So
now, if you're interested in following the story, so Drakengard 1, 2, and 3 will have multiple endings. So the Nier universe and the Drakengard universe are connected, and the way they're connected is the bad ending of Drakengard 2 is the start of Nier. So if you want to follow the story that way, do the bad ending of Drakengard 2, and it is how Nier started. Which is really cool.
That's cool. I do hopefully look forward to playing through this whole series. Is that those games are really interesting. I mean, all of Yoko Taro's games are really interesting, bizarre, but really, really interesting and fun too.
And you almost couldn't put a genre down to them. It combines platforming games, RPGs, shoot 'em up elements. Like there's so many different elements in this one game. It is so good.
Yeah, it's shocking they managed to fit so many different genres into multiple games. So major props to them on that.
And they made it work too. It's brilliant. The original Nier on PS3, I played that so many times. And I will play the PS3 version. I don't care that it's got the orange shell shade of the PS3 yellow. I don't care that the story is a little bit slower than the PS4 version. To me, that game was almost perfect. So good. I struggle to replay games, especially when they have stories. So to replay a RPG like that, it must be brilliant.
That's a true measure of an RPG. RPGs that like you sink 100 hours of them and you're like, I'm gonna do it again. That's a damn good game.
And you know what's gonna happen, but it's so good that you don't care.
So that's essentially everything I got recently of note. So I got like last two things that I've had these for some time, but I think they're really, really interesting conversation pieces. So I thought I'd throw these in here as why not. So we all know this game here, right?
Yep.
The Zelda collection on GameCube, the compilation of Zelda games.
Zelda?
I don't know. Can you read it?
I'm just
So the way that we got this, it was bundled with the GameCube. If you resubscribe to Nintendo Power or whatever their service is, they would mail it to you essentially. Like there was multiple ways to get this game right here in the States and internationally. But here's the Japanese version of it.
Ooh.
And what is so strange. This is probably the most valuable or rarest Japanese GameCube game, or at least in top 5, believe it or not. And the reason is the way that they got this was only with one method, which was if you had Club Nintendo at the time and enough points, you would redeem, I think it's 500 points at the time, and they would mail this to you. And I imagine like 500 points was probably like a really like high number for
Back in
something
the early
like this.
2000s.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's not a lot of this out there because Japan was way limited for how they could get this compared to ours, you know. So it's pretty neat to actually have this overall. And one thing that kind of jealous that they got with this release. So we just got the Zelda collection of Zelda 1, 2, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, but they did get the same collection right here, but this disc right here is the Ocarina of Time Master Quest disc that you got if you pre-ordered Wind Waker at the time. So they got 2 different versions of Ocarina of Time with this, essentially. That's interesting. And the last thing I got here, and this is, to me, this is the coolest thing I own, at least to my standards. Not like anything that's expensive, but the story behind this, I think, is the coolest thing that I own.
Yeah.
The complete
Value doesn't mean cool, man.
Mm-hmm. But it'd probably be this. The complete in box version of Tengen Tetris on the NES.
Yeah, you never see that box, dude, ever.
You almost never see this anymore.
Box, dude.
Because this was only on store shelves for about like 3 to 4 weeks, and due to the lawsuit that came up that Tengen/Atari themselves started against Nintendo, they lost, and this was coming out when the whole thing was coming to an end. So yeah, all the copies that were recalled were destroyed afterwards. So the fact to have like a complete in box copy of this is pretty sweet to own.
That's really cool, dude.
The way that I got this was back in 2016, I think it was. A friend of mine that I met during college, he just randomly found this, and we were in a Discord chat, and he just randomly just said, apparently this copy of Tetris I have is really rare, and it was this exact copy right here.
That's
and and because like we were friends, he was not a collector, but he knew I was. He wanted to make sure like it would go to someone who would take very good care of it. And at the time, I paid him $80 for it. And nowadays, it's like how much?
Good God!
If you ever find it, it's not that crazy expensive. Believe it or not, given like what this is, but at the same time, you almost never see it these days.
The box, I've seen the cart. Tons. The box, I like never see that, dude.
But it has all the extra inserts, not just the manual, but everything else it originally came with too.
There was a recent sale for the Mega Drive version. Are you guys aware of the Mega Drive version of Tetris? Is like only
isn't that like unreleased version or some shit like that?
So there was a recent sale 2 months ago, and it sold for $141,000 US. Like, oh my God.
Huh.
Yeah, so that's got to be like some rare unreleased promo version or something.
I believe there's 11 of these exist. I know the last gamer did a video on this game a few years ago. He might have even said there was 5 or 6 in that video at the time. But yeah, that's insane. But they pop up. Like one sold the last couple of months. You know, that's an insane price.
Yeah, that is.
That's not graded. That's not sealed. That's how it is.
Tetris of all things, huh?
Yeah, Tetris.
We're the most popular game of all time, arguably.
That's awesome, though. Hey, what's up, Telly? Now I got the Tetris music stuck in my head.
Call that a show. Devin, thanks so much for coming back on, man. And guys, be sure to tune in next Friday because Joe won't be here, and special co-host will be Devin. And we welcome Mike Higgins to the show. Mike's a big PS3 collector. He's one of the oldest members of the PS3 group. He's got an amazing collection, lots of sealed heavy hitters, so it should be really good to chat to Mike. And as well as Mike, we've got Jason coming back on this Sunday. You guys all love Jason's previous episodes, so be sure to jump back in. We're going to be chatting limited run game news, limited rare game news. We've got some conspiracy theories to dig in. It should be fun. And yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. If you haven't already, go subscribe to dStreet over on YouTube. Closing in on 1,000 subs. Let's get dStreet there before the end of the year. And
hell yeah,
everyone.
Hey man, thanks for coming on again, Devin.
Yeah, sure thing. Good night, everyone.
Later,
See you
everybody.
guys.
You found the coolest